John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm. For those of you who don't know me, I help people plan their estates, and I enjoy it. Over the years, I've planned many types of estates, and I've had people ask me, well, if this famous person were your client, how would you plan their estate? So recently, I created a video on how I would plan Ryan Reynolds' estate if he were my client. I'll put a link in the description below so you can see how I would. But today, we're going to have a little fun, and I'm going to plan the estate of some fictional characters to show you how creative we can be planning estates. Today, we're tackling the characters of Seinfeld. Seinfeld is a comedy series known as a show about nothing. It follows the daily lives of four quirky friends living in New York City: Jerry Seinfeld, George Costanza, Elaine Bennis, and Cosmo Kramer. Speaking of quirky, estate planning for the Seinfeld characters would be quirky and reflective of their unique personalities and relationships. Here's how I would tackle their estate planning. First up, Jerry Seinfeld. The goal for Jerry's estate plan would be to keep things simple. I'd put a focus on protecting his assets with some provisions for his family and charitable causes. Jerry, being financially comfortable from his comedy career, would likely set up a revocable living trust to avoid probate and keep his estate private. This trust would allow him to distribute assets easily to family members and possibly close friends. Additionally, Jerry is a charitable guy, if he feels like it, so he might have a donor-advised fund to donate part of his estate to causes he cares about, such as local New York organizations, the arts, or medical research. Finally, given Jerry's passion for Superman and his extensive sneaker collection, he might set up a memorabilia trust or include instructions in his will to ensure these items go to a collector who appreciates them. Second, let's tackle George Costanza. The goal for George's estate plan would be to keep things cheap and ensure he doesn't get taken advantage of. George is always looking to save money, so he might resist complex estate planning. He'd likely have a basic will that leaves most of his assets to his parents, Frank and Estelle, with perhaps a small fund set aside for his friends, especially if he feels obligated. To avoid more complaints from Frank and Estelle, he might set up a family trust to take care of them, assuming they survive him. This way, he could set up conditions to make sure they're provided for without him having to deal with their nagging during his lifetime. One thing I would do for sure in George's estate plan is to include a no contest clause, because George would be wary of anyone challenging his will. A no contest clause would ensure that anyone who contests his will is disqualified from inheriting, probably directed at any friends or relatives he doesn't trust. Third, let's talk about Elaine Bennis. For her, I would focus on making sure her independence is maintained, leaving a legacy that could possibly support any causes she believes in. As an independent woman with various jobs and no steady family structure, Elaine would probably set up a revocable trust for ease of asset distribution. She would want the flexibility to change beneficiaries as her social circles and priorities shift. Elaine is also socially conscious, so she might include bequests to organizations that reflect her values, like a ballet or cultural arts fund. She would also want to avoid any medical decisions being made by her eccentric on-again, off-again boyfriends like David Puddy. She'd likely have clear healthcare directives and designate a trusted friend, like Jerry, as her medical power of attorney. Fourth, Cosmo Kramer. For Kramer, I'd focus his estate plan on possibly supporting his friends and funding eccentric projects. Kramer's plan would be full of surprises. He might set up an unconventional or purpose trust to fund outlandish ideas, such as continuing his invention projects, like his coffee table book about coffee tables, or supporting a local karate dojo, or maybe a pizza store where you bake your own pie. Kramer would probably want to leave something for Jerry, Elaine, and George, with personalized gifts or small funds tied to their quirks, like Jerry's favorite cereal, a spa fund for Elaine, and perhaps a get-out-of-jail fund for George. Kramer also would be aware of the need to keep his business secrets safe, such as his file on the Real Peterman reality bus tour. A digital estate plan might be included to preserve or delete certain digital content upon his death. As a bonus, we're going to tackle Newman's estate. Hello, Newman. The goal with Newman's estate is to leave a legacy that's carefully documented. Newman would draft a highly detailed will, specifying his instructions for every minor asset. He might leave his stamp collection to a fellow postal worker or a portion of his estate to fund obscure postal-related projects. But as a government employee, he might be eligible for pension benefits or government retirement accounts, which he could designate to pass on to close friends or family. To prevent disputes with his estate plan, he'd likely also include a no contest clause. Given his paranoia, he'd anticipate challenges and have a backup plan for his beneficiaries. Designing estate plans for the characters of Seinfeld would reflect their quirks, relationships, and values, making for a unique approach to asset distribution, legacy planning, and of course, a few laughs. Alright, that's really all we have for today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we put out new videos almost every day, and make sure you hit the like button because, hey, every like helps. I also have a favor to ask. Voting for Best of Cobb is in full swing. Would you mind voting for me and the law firm? If so, I'll put a link in the description where you can vote for us, and it's a lot like a mayor's race in Chicago. You can vote early and you can vote often. Thank you.